After my transformation into an alpha, I arrogantly boasted to my rival, Xu Xinghan. Yet, I failed to notice the fleeting glimmer of darkness in his eyes. A few days later, Xu Xinghan underwent his own transformation within the confines of my room, evolving into an enigma. I found myself utterly overwhelmed by his pheromones as his hand reached for my waist. His voice, tinged with subtle delight, remarked, "Ah, an alpha. Quite resilient." 1. Xu Xinghan, I was wrong. Could you perhaps forget my name? Yet, Xu Xinghan did not cease his meticulous recording of my name. He cast a fleeting glance in my direction before pressing the pen back down. Develop some memory. Refrain from lending your school uniform to others next time. My exasperation peaked as I tugged gently at Xu Xinghan's sleeve, pleading in a hushed tone, "No, he has a disability. I merely acted out of kindness. Please don't remember me, or my mother will surely punish me." Nearby, Zhouamo, his face pale, gently tugged at the hem of my shirt. "Jianggu, perhaps I should return the school uniform to you." In the next instant, Xu Xinghan abruptly pulled me forward. He then forcefully crossed out my name with a crisp stroke of his pen, his expression darkening as he said, "This cannot happen again." I chuckled, pushing Zhou's wheelchair into the school, jesting, "I told you it was fine." Zhou smiled softly, his innocent face lighting up. "Thank you, Jianggu. What is your relationship with President Xu?" I scoffed lightly. "Arch-nemesis." 2. Xu Xinghan and I were not always adversaries. However, upon reflection, I suppose I triumphed over him just once at birth. My cries were louder than his. Xu Xinghan excelled academically from a young age, always polite, while I struggled with my studies and was rather rebellious. He lived next door and would occasionally visit my home. As a child, he was rather oblivious. If someone struck him, it would take him a full 2 minutes to cry. My burgeoning sense of heroism led me to protect him for 2 years. Yet, once he began attending Taekwondo and Muay Thai classes, my guardianship became futile. I soon discovered that the Lego sets I painstakingly assembled were effortlessly completed by him in mere hours. The class bullies I could not contend with were effortlessly subdued by his authoritative demeanor. How had that little boy transformed? To make matters worse, after I accidentally shattered Ms. Lin's cosmetics, I found myself being compared to Xu Xinghan. "Jiang Qiwei, why can't you learn from Xu Xinghan?" My 8-year-old self glared, vowing to regard Xu Xinghan as my lifelong rival. 3. The sun climbed steadily to the treetops. I felt an itch and groggily swatted away the hand that was brushing my face. "Xu Xinghan, stop touching me. I want to sleep." He grasped my wrist firmly, his voice low and serious. "Where were you last night?" I rolled over, too tired to respond. In an instant, he effortlessly pulled me upright. "Get up. It's time for lunch." My eyes flew open, and I smacked him hard on the arm. "Enough with the hurry. I get it." Ms. Lin adored Xu Xinghan immensely. Our door was perpetually open to him. There were times I would forget my keys and have to ask Xu Xinghan to let me in. His family was often busy, so whenever he found himself without a meal, he would come to my house. I had grown accustomed to it. After brushing my teeth, I descended the stairs, feeling refreshed. Xu Xinghan sat on the sofa with his phone in hand, and upon seeing me, he set it aside. His dark eyes scrutinized me, sending a shiver down my spine. Had he discovered what I had done yesterday? Sure enough, he beckoned me over. "Come here." I hesitated, raising my voice to ask, "What do you want?" Xu Xinghan seized my wrist, his tone laced with restraint as he inquired, "Did you go to a party at the hotel last night? Who was there? Did you drink?" I ran my fingers through my tousled hair, astonished at how much he seemed to know. "There was no one. Why do you care so much?" Xu Xinghan released my wrist, threatening, "If you don't explain after lunch, I'll tell Ms. Lin." I darted towards the dining table, unwilling to face that consequence. Ms. Lin, with a beaming smile, placed soup in front of me. "Yeah, why did you argue with Xinghan again?" I muttered through a mouthful of salted egg yolk chicken wings. "I did not." Ms. Lin gently patted my cheek. "You two mustn't quarrel. I remember when you weren't even born, your mother and Xinghan's mother had already made plans. If you two ever have a suitable gender match, you could become in-laws." I nearly spat out my soup. "Xu Xinghan and I scoffed. "Then I suppose I'll reluctantly accept this tyrannical omega." Xu Xinghan. In truth, our ABO reports had been released years ago. I had an 80% chance of becoming an alpha, while Xu Xinghan was a definite 100%. Xu Xinghan chuckled softly, methodically removing his shrimp-peeling gloves. Is that so? Seizing the opportunity, I transferred the peeled shrimp from his bowl to mine. Xu Xinghan merely watched, offering no resistance. I raised my eyebrows in triumph. Other shrimp were simply delectable. For Suing, Zhouemo, and Zhang Hao there truly were no others. I obediently recounted the events of the previous night to Xu Xinghan. I didn't drink. We just sang, and I returned before 3. Xu Xinghan let out a cold laugh. Zhang Qiwei, did you really think it wasn't late? You're asking for trouble. Feeling somewhat guilty, I rubbed my nose. How did Xu Xinghan know this? I was still pondering when I suddenly felt unwell. My head was spinning, and my face felt warm. Xu Xinghan, I'm not feeling well. Please let me be. No sooner had I spoken than I began to sway and fell directly into Xu Xinghan's embrace. His expression shifted dramatically as he whipped out his phone to call for an ambulance. Darkness enveloped me. I felt an overwhelming heat, and my neck became unbearably itchy. I called out for Xu Xinghan in confusion. Xu Xinghan, could you scratch my neck? It's so itchy. I heard no response from him, only the sensation of something damp being applied. Surely, Xu Xinghan was wetting a cloth to help me. When I opened my eyes again, a bouquet of flowers was thrust into my view, and Ms. Lin was beaming as she congratulated me. Congratulations, Yaya. You have officially evolved into an alpha. You're truly becoming a little adult now. I accepted the flowers with a smile, eager to rush to Xu Xinghan and boast. Oh, where was Xu Xinghan? Wasn't he the one who brought me here? I scanned the room and spotted him seated in a chair, legs crossed, hands folded as he observed me. Excitedly, I called him over and tore off the barrier sticker from my newly grown gland. Xu Xinghan, do you see this? I'm now an alpha. Ms. Lin quickly rushed to reapply the sticker. Yeah. I looked up in a daze, wondering what was happening. Xu Xinghan approached and ruffled my hair, smiling as he said, I understand. Later, Ms. Lin explained to me, the newly developed gland is akin to a private area. It serves more as an invitation, inviting others to nibble on you. Of course, after some time, the gland will retract on its own, becoming invisible to the naked eye. I inadvertently invited Xu Xinghan without even realizing it. A wave of warmth crept up my cheeks. It must be anger. Ms. Lin pinched my face and admonished, it's fine to study, but you must pay special attention in physiology class. I nodded vigorously, I know. Upon arriving at school, my good friends surrounded me. Jianggu, how does it feel to have differentiated into an alpha? Generally speaking, everyone undergoes differentiation after turning 18. Currently, some have yet to differentiate while others have completed the process. I tossed my backpack into the drawer with one hand, grinning with pride. What does it feel like? Feels invincible. Zhang Hao urged me to check the desk cavity, and I pulled out several love letters. News of your differentiation into an alpha spread throughout the school yesterday, and today you already have love letters. I rubbed my nose. Well, I don't plan on dating yet. Despite my words, I carefully tucked them away in my backpack. Discarding them would surely crush the hearts of the writers. As a proper warm-hearted alpha, I would never do such a thing. Zhouemo approached me slowly, leaning on his cane. So, Jianggu, when do you plan on dating? I crossed my legs casually. We'll see. Suddenly, Zhoumo's cane slipped, causing him to stumble toward me. I quickly grabbed his arm. Be careful. This brought us disturbingly close together, and I could even catch a faint whiff of Zhoumo's peach-scented pheromones. I hastily stepped back from Zhouemo. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of a figure slipping through the door, someone who resembled Xu Xinghan. I dismissed it and continued to play around with my friends. However, I was caught off guard when Xu Xinghan cornered me after school. He tugged me into a dimly lit corner where his expression was obscured. Jiangqi Yu, do you know the difference between AO? Indeed, that figure was Xu Xinghan. I raised an eyebrow, defiantly declaring, of course I know, but Zhouemo is not just any omega. Xu Xinghan's voice was calm, yet I felt an underlying tension. Is he the omega you desire, or the one you wish to mark, or someone else? I shivered inexplicably, meeting Xu Xinghan's intense gaze that glimmered with a fiery essence in the darkness. It felt as if I were being hunted by a beast. I instinctively touched the back of my neck. It's none of those. I don't like him. He's just a good friend. What does that have to do with you? Xu Xinghan's heavy breathing suddenly lightened. Jiangqi Yu, you must pay attention to your behavior as an alpha. If you still don't understand, I will teach you properly. I mumbled a few half-hearted acknowledgments. At that moment, Xu Xinghan seemed someone not to provoke. While the sky was still dimly lit, Xu Xinghan escorted me home, even entering my room uninvited. First, an alpha must maintain at least 3 centimeters of distance from an omega. Second, an alpha must control their pheromones. I lazily reclined on the sofa, digging in my ears. Xu Xinghan, is this why you came to my room? Why are you so concerned about my instructions? It's annoying. Ignoring my protests, Xu Xinghan continued his lecture point by point. Finally, he squatted down to ask me, "Did you absorb all that?" Seeing his serious expression, I sensed he was genuinely upset. Xu Xinghan could be quite intimidating when angry. At this moment, it was best not to resist. I obediently nodded. Xu Xinghan placed his hand over my ear, rubbing it gently. "Be good." I shrugged off his hand. "Now get out." Xu Xinghan stood up and left. I collapsed into the lazy chair, staring blankly at the flickering light. I felt too embarrassed to admit that my glands had been itching for days, especially when I was near Xu Xinghan. I knew I was dreaming. Xu Xinghan's eyes were typically cold, only igniting with tiny flames when I angered him. But now, they seemed to harbor something strange. He leaned closer. "Jiang Qiyu, if you don't behave, I'll take you down." I almost retorted, ready for a fight. But when his cool lips brushed against mine, I suddenly realized the gravity of the situation. Oh no, that kind of takedown. Startled, I jolted awake, the entire room filled with the scent of my pheromones. I quickly covered my glands in shock. What in the world had just happened? I had an intimate dream about my arch-nemesis. This was terrifying. Feeling a dampness below, I quickly dashed to the bathroom to change my pants. I couldn't sleep well for the rest of the night. Consequently, on Tuesday morning I felt groggy. I noticed Xu Xinghan conducting routine checks and instinctively tried to avoid him. From a distance, I caught a glimpse of Xu Xinghan, his gaze as icy as ever. Zhang Hao scrutinized me. "Jianggo, you seem fine with your routine check. Why are you avoiding him?" I hurried my pace. "I just don't want to see Xu Xinghan." For several days, I not only avoided Xu Xinghan but also all omegas, especially Zhouemo. Ms. Lin asked me, "Yeah, have you had a falling out with Xinghan?" I shook my head, too afraid to speak the truth. "Should I confess? Your son has developed some inappropriate feelings for his arch-nemesis. He is considering an AA relationship. That would certainly leave Ms. Lin breathless and in need of hospitalization." Suddenly, an odd thought crossed my mind. What if Xu Xinghan were an omega? By Friday, Zhouemo found me. "Yang Yi, I need to discuss something with you. Can we meet at the bench on the playground after school?" Assuming he had something important to say, I agreed. The day dragged on aimlessly. As soon as school ended, I made my way to the playground. A few minutes later, Zhouemo arrived. His cheeks flushed and his lips glistening as if coated in something. His entire face a mix of nervousness. I had my hands in my pockets, feeling the wind blow strongly towards me, pondering whether Xu Xinghan would join us for dinner that evening, and thus I barely registered Zhouemo's words. "What? Jiang Qiyu, I like you. We're not just friends, are we?" I was momentarily stunned. As I regained my senses, I noticed Zhouemo's face drawing closer. I instinctively stepped back, but before I knew it, Zhouemo was knocked to the ground by none other than Xu Xinghan. "What? How did you get here?" Xu Xinghan's expression was terrifying. He remained silent, simply pulling me away towards home. As I was dragged along, I shouted, "What are you doing? Let go of me." "Zhouemo." Xu Xinghan halted, his voice cutting through my protests. "Don't mention him again." I obediently fell silent, sensing that Xu Xinghan's emotions were amiss. Upon arriving at my home, I was enveloped by an oppressive darkness. Mrs. Lin was away on business, and the housekeeper had left for the day on Friday. It was just Xu Xinghan and me, and an inexplicable sense of danger loomed. I desperately tugged at my wrist, which he had firmly grasped.
"No, y protesta."
In the shadows, my fingers grazed Xu Xinghan's feverish body. "Are you about to undergo differentiation?" Suddenly, Xu Xinghan halted, hoisting me up onto his shoulder. My perspective flipped as I flailed my arms helplessly. When did he become so strong? As we ascended the stairs, my bedroom door was shut behind us. Something was terribly wrong. Xu Xinghan's heavy breaths filled the air, his hands gripping my waist with an unyielding ferocity. His face tilted slightly, his prominent nose brushing against the gland covered by a barrier patch, sending shivers through me. My legs wobbled. The newly developed gland was maddeningly sensitive. "Yeah, you're not being obedient enough," he murmured, his voice laced with mild reproach. It seemed he had already dislodged the barrier patch. My gaze faltered, overwhelmed by the pheromones that permeated the air, suppressing me. Xu Xinghan, please stop, it tickles, I pleaded. Yet, he ignored my words, intent on guiding me to the bed. As my body fell onto the mattress, he suddenly chuckled, saying, Darling, did I not mention that I am not only 100% capable of transforming into an alpha, but also 60% capable of becoming an enigma? No wonder I felt utterly immobilized. No wonder he restrained me so fiercely. Xu Xinghan brushed aside my bangs, exposing my smooth forehead, while his head remained nestled against my neck, his warm breath sending waves of sensation coursing through me. The gland I had so painstakingly retracted was about to be licked free by him. Darling, let us clarify why you wish to be alone with Zhouemo, he pressed. Do you wish to kiss him? My head buzzed at the mention of Zhouemo, and I hastily explained. He said he liked me. Ugh, don't bite. I don't like him. It was terrifying. Xu Xinghan, please, can you pause for a moment? Absolutely not. If you don't like him, why permit him to come near? Why are you avoiding me? I felt that Xu Xinghan was being unreasonable, yet I was at a disadvantage. Reluctantly, I acquiesced. I want to let him near again. Is that acceptable? Xu Xinghan let out a light laugh, tinged with delight. Honestly, I was quite pleased when you began to differentiate into an alpha. I raised my eyes, meeting his smiling gaze, bewildered. Why? That way, my dear. You want to be in danger of being overwhelmed by me. My gland lay exposed to the air, vulnerable. Xu Xinghan's sharp teeth pierced it, injecting waves of pheromones into me. My entire body tightened, trembling. With his moist lips and tongue, I muttered, You're a pervert. Finally, Xu Xinghan concluded his temporary marking. Infuriated, I struck him lightly with my fists. I'm never playing with you again. Xu Xinghan merely smiled. Fine, if we're not friends or enemies, shall we be lovers instead? I gazed into his melting ice-cold eyes. His pheromones smelled of wisteria, and now I was enveloped in that very scent. Who else would mark before confessing? I turned my head away. You like me? Since when? Xu Xinghan brushed away the tears I had shed from the overwhelming sensations. For a long time I can hardly recall. A sense of pride swelled within me. Then, when I disliked you before, were you not very upset? Xu Xinghan pulled me up from the bed, but my legs betrayed me, causing me to collapse once more. Yes, so if Yaoi refuses me now, I will also be quite upset. I waved my hand at him. I'll think about it. Before leaving, Xu Xinghan helped straighten my disheveled clothes. Don't hide from me anymore, Yaoi. My mind spiraled with nonsensical thoughts. How could Xu Xinghan possibly like me? Was he truly harboring a secret crush? And what about me? Yet, he was an enigma capable of transforming an alpha into an omega, and he was formidable in every aspect. How could I possibly compete with him? What if he became abusive? My mind swirled with these irrational thoughts, yet I found myself contemplating a future together. Did I perhaps harbor some feelings for him? I buried myself under the covers, unable to contain a few loud exclamations, cursing, Damn you, Xu Xinghan. The next day, I awoke with a throbbing head, no one calling for me. Where was Xu Xinghan? I sat up in confusion. He would usually have come to my house to bother me by this time. Upon descending the stairs, I found no trace of him. That scoundrel, who had marked me just yesterday, rubbing my temples. I awkwardly opened Xu Xinghan's WeChat chat. After some deliberation, I sent him a message. Where are you? 2 seconds later, he replied. At the hospital, checking pheromone levels. Don't worry. I didn't want to pry too much, but recalled how busy his family often was. Surely he wasn't at the hospital alone. By yourself? Xu Xinghan sent 2 crying emojis. Yeah, come keep me company. They need to draw blood. From a young age, Xu Xinghan had been terrified of needles, often crying uncontrollably at the sight of a syringe. I would hold him in my small embrace, assuring him there was nothing to fear. As he grew older, he no longer cried but still required my presence. I ran my fingers through my hair, changed my clothes, and sent him a message. I'll be there soon. Upon arriving at the hospital, I found Xu Xinghan waiting at the entrance, his smile sweet. Yeah. I awkwardly walked alongside him. His hand was restless, continually attempting to grasp mine. I swiftly hid my hand behind me, only to meet his pleading gaze. Fine. I returned my hand to its rightful place. After all, he had initiated it. We reached the blood draw room. Xu Xinghan exposed his veined forearm, placing it on the doctor's table. I observed him turn his head away and tightly shut his eyes. I stepped forward, cradling his head gently against my abdomen. His warm breath seeped through my clothing, sending heat to my skin. I caught the doctor's teasing gaze, and my cheeks betrayed me, flushing crimson. The doctor applied iodine to Xu Xinghan's arm and swiftly drew 2 full vials of blood. My hand rested in his hair, soft and fine. After a while, the test results were ready. There shouldn't be any issues, right? I asked, peering at the various values on the report alongside Xu Xinghan. He nodded. Nothing. The doctor informed me my temper has been too high lately. He looked at me as he spoke. What did that mean? Was I the one causing his temper to flare? I rolled my eyes. You should be more careful in that regard. Xu Xinghan chuckled, pulling me closer by the hand. You could have answered me back then, you know? Since Xu Xinghan had confessed his feelings, it felt as if a wild beast had been unleashed from its cage. Once, we were merely childhood friends and rivals. Now, he demanded the role of my boyfriend with an alarming possessiveness. Annoyed, I snatched Xu Xinghan's phone and began rummaging through it. Upon discovering the note he had assigned to me, reading Moon Treasure, I realized I held the top position in his contacts. As I scrolled further down, I came across the WeChat accounts of my rather foolish friends, who, to my dismay, had not restricted their moments. I mused to myself, why is it that Xu Xinghan always seems to be aware of our outings? Right in front of Xu Xinghan, I resolutely deleted those friends from my WeChat. Xu Xinghan languidly inquired, are you planning to have me install a tracking device on you? Yeah? How clever of him to think of that. I retorted, Xu Xinghan, if you intend to engage in such antics, your chances will be utterly extinguished. Xu Xinghan fell silent, his pinky finger grazing my leg. As you command. After my return to school, Zhou continued to seek me out. He cautiously inquired from across the table, Jianggu, could you grant me another chance? Zhang Hao and Suing exchanged awkward glances, urging me, Jianggu, it's time for brothers to be honest with each other after all these years. I rolled my eyes in response. This was no longer merely a matter of brotherly affection. It was evident that my brother had developed ulterior motives. If I did not refuse Zhou today, it would spell disaster for me, Jianggu, tomorrow. Thus, I pulled the necks of my 2 silly friends closer and whispered, Zhou has confessed to me. What am I supposed to do with this brother? Suing chuckled, only you believe in true brotherhood. I've seen through it long ago. Zhang Hao widened his eyes in astonishment. What? Well, since you have no one you fancy, Zhou is a brother. At least you know him well. Why not give it a try? Upon hearing this, I instinctively wanted to protest. Who says I don't have someone I like? The atmosphere fell into a brief silence until Zhou made another appeal. I just want to talk to you, Jianggu. I won't do anything. Fine. Maintaining at least a meter's distance, we began our conversation. Does Jianggu have feelings for Xu Xinghan? My heart skipped a beat, a wave of panic washing over me at his accurate guess. I touched the back of my neck, feeling quite embarrassed. How did you figure that out? It's not like I really do. Zhou's expression turned serious. Jianggu, haven't you noticed that Xu Xinghan has issues? He doesn't want anyone else to touch you or for you to socialize with others. I can see his gaze. It's possessive to an extreme, like that of a wild beast. If you were to be with him, your freedom would be under his control. He would imprison you, wishing for you never to leave his side. Upon hearing this, I contemplated his words carefully. I could rather accept that. There's food and clothing provided, and Xu Xinghan has always been overly protective, not even allowing me to catch a hint of shrimp scent. Thus, amidst my swirling thoughts, I solemnly responded to Zhou's inquiry. All right, I suppose if it were Xu Xinghan I could accept it. After all, to love someone is to embrace all aspects of them. Zhou let out a bitter laugh, his voice tinged with mockery. Damn it, Xu Xinghan is going to drive me crazy. Zhou's persona crumbled. He had never uttered a curse before. Following Zhou's gaze, I turned to see Xu Xinghan wearing a smile, looking at me under the sun, shadows dancing across his face. Zhou spat disdainfully in his direction. Xu Xinghan arrogantly raised an eyebrow, advancing towards me to take my hand and lead me away. First, one must grant their partner ample freedom. Second, one should not cling to their partner incessantly. Third, one must provide their partner with both freedom and respect. I rattled off a list of rules, the contents rivaling Xu Xinghan's alpha male etiquette manual. Xu Xinghan obediently nodded, his hand roaming to my waist. Yeah, I wish to hear that again. Could you repeat it? I rolled my eyes playfully, intent on teasing him. What exactly do you mean? What is that? Xu Xinghan buried his head in my neck, suddenly adopting a petulant demeanor. How peculiar. Unable to contain myself any longer, I grasped his face as if pulling a carrot from the ground. I like you. I love you. Xu Xinghan stared blankly for a moment before unexpectedly shedding tears. I laughed, calling him a crybaby. Yet, inexplicably, my heart ached with a pang of sorrow. I thought to myself, no matter what, we would continue our journey of happiness together. The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next tale.